What is up, Internet world, and welcome back to Accelerate. I'm Mike, and this is the all-new 2025 Land Rover Defender OCTA. So there are some changes in comparison to the regular Defender when looking at this OCTA. Starting off with this crushed carbon trim right there. It is super cool. Now, they carry that trim into the cabin as well, not just the exterior. Now, when I first saw this OCTA, I was like, damn, look at this raised hood, until it is actually standard on the regular Defender as well. But anyways, you got Defender right there in crushed carbon as well. You've got this grille, little piece over here, but there is something different. You have 1, 2, 3 lights, and that is because it is wider than naturally accepted here in the States. So you have to put these 3 little lights just like you do in the Ford Raptor. Now underneath you have a larger front intake. This is larger than the regular Defender. You do have an Edition 1, I wouldn't say badge, but it's in there when I scratch all this dirt off, because we've been going crazy with this. We've been driving for almost 8 hours out in this beautiful area. Now, as we go around the side of the car, you can see this is an opening because it does have some functionality to the front bumper. And when you look at that, you'll see how wide these fender flares are. These are wider than the normal Defender. This is specific to the OCTA, the width of this. And it's because it is wider by about 2.5 inches. It is also an inch taller. This is a different Defender than what you're used to. Now, as you come around to the side, you will see these have 20-inch wheels, and behind them are Brembo brakes, and they are gold, and they're hiding behind it. And I don't know what piston calipers they are, but they look like they're at least 4 piston, maybe even 6. And I'll get to those details in the comments below. Now, these tires are special. They are specific to this vehicle. They are tough. They have Kevlar in them. They have a top speed of 99 miles an hour, and they are designed for the off-road. Now, I will say, driving it on the street, it's actually not even that loud. I was expecting like the Raptor, very loud and very droney in the vehicle, but we didn't feel that whatsoever when we're in the road, driving for about an hour and a half to get to our destination. Now, the other thing about it is, of course, this has air suspension, so you can raise and lower it. It does not have sway bars. It has something called a 6D suspension. And what that essentially is, it's hydraulic fluid that goes to each independent wheel, but it's centrally connected and allows it to have more articulation than ever before on a Defender. Now, this is based on a 110 body style. So if you're not used to what the Defender is, you can get them in a 90, a 110, and a 130. Now, because you do have extended fender flares here, it does wrap into this lower piece all the way across onto the back, where you also have wider fender flares. Now, when you look at this vehicle, you see it's scratched up a little bit, and it does have a matte finish, but it's actually wrapped. Yep, wrapped from factory, and it's self-healing apparently. So when you leave it in the sun for long enough, some of these scratches actually go away. And if they don't, well, you can order the part from the parts department, and it's not as expensive as you think, because all the cars we've had today are all scratched up, and they're all going to be perfect tomorrow morning. Yep, apparently it's that easy to clean off your Defender from scratches. Anyways, if you don't know what vehicle this is, well, it says it right here. It's a Defender, and it does have, again, more of that crushed carbon trim all embedded in this OCTA. Now, moving down here, of course, when the key's in your pocket, you can simply walk up to the car, touch the handle, press this button, and the vehicle will lock or unlock. Now, look at the height of this. It is a nice high vehicle. Getting in and out, you can really feel the difference between this and a regular Defender when stepping in and out of your OCTA. Now, moving back here, you will see, again, this is definitely nice and wide, but up here, you see a little bit of a difference. You have the OCTA badge right there. Now, you can order a bunch of accessories, including an extended sort of piping kit for an air intake on the OCTA. Of course, you can order all the fun stuff that comes with the Defender, but there are a few pieces like, again, that front intake. Now, coming around the side here, you can see you have flaps on the back and flaps on the front. Again, another parts department accessory you can buy for your OCTA. So let's move around the back and show you some special stuff about this thing. Now, we've been running military style all day with 9 OCTAs, and there's one regular Defender. And at a period of time today, he was in front of me, and it's so differently apparent that the back of this is so much cooler than the regular Defender. For starters, this is all one color. Well, it wasn't the case with this specific other one. Anyways, on the back here, you have this cool wheel. From a distance, you're like, what? When you see them rolling down, you're like, are those Steelies? But no, they're like OZ racing wheels. They're super cool, very, very industrial, very hardcore, very heavy duty. Anyways, this is all the same. Nothing's changed over here. All very, very Defender style. But here is where the differences are. You've got tow hooks, 2 of them on either side. And sorry, I didn't talk about it. You have a central front one as well. But here you have 2 of them, and it is cool looking, very utilitarian, very cool. Anyways, besides all that, on the bottom here are your exhaust. They sound amazing, and I will let you listen to them in a second. But I want to tell you, this tows around 7,700 pounds or so. Might be off by a few hundred pounds, but it's around 7,000 pounds that it tows in your Defender. So look, you can get through any sort of terrain in your Defender OCTA, but you can also tow with it. So this suspension allows you to be super smooth, super comfortable in comfort. It hauls 0 to 60 in around 4 seconds, actually just under 4 seconds if you're doing a 60, and if you're doing 100, it's about 4 seconds. And you can also take this thing off-roading and drive it like an animal. So you have a very full equipped vehicle that you can use in all sorts of terrain. Back to the exhaust sound. Now, growing up in Dubai, this experience has been very, very nostalgic for me because I grew up in the desert, and parts of Dubai, actually about 100 kilometers from there, we actually had smaller mountains with rocks everywhere. And that's what this experience with this Defender has been like for me today. So I want to give a big shout out to Land Rover and all the boys over there for bringing me here to sort of the Moab Desert and some Utah and some Colorado, sort of in between, to experience the all-new 2025 Land Rover Defender OCTA. So let's get inside the trunk of this Defender OCTA and see how much room you have. And is there any differences? And the answer is, again, no, there's not a lot of differences when it comes to space, because remember, this is a 110. Again, it is a little bit wider, but that's more on the actual drive components and not on the inside capacity of the vehicle. So you do have this little Land Rover mat that's here. You do have a tonneau cover that's fairly flimsy, so you can have materials that are higher or lower when you put it into the cabin. You do have the ability to actually drop the vehicle by hitting this button, and it lowers the suspension, because remember, this does have air suspension, so you can raise it and lower it, so to give that easy height to put stuff into this back trunk. You do have a plug right here, an AC 110 that has 180 watts worth of jam. You do have these little clips so you can hang stuff off the side of it. And then on the bottom here, you do have a fan speed. I assume because you have some air going on back here, you'd have the ability to actually adjust the fan speed, and then a little bit of storage here. And that's about it. Apart from the fact you have a 40-20-40 split seat and some windows. And when I mean windows, I mean a lot of windows. Back seat of the new OCTA. Ooh, feel these seats. These seats are special. They are called Ultra Fabric. Is that right?
Yes.
Ultra Fabric. Perfect. Just making sure my guy knows more than I do. Anyways, very soft to touch. They're, of course, waterproof, because you are in a waterproof amphibian vehicle, feels like it almost. Very, very soft to touch. Up here is a harder material, but down here, very, very soft. They are perforated. It does have 4-zone climate control. You do have 2 USB-Cs there, and you have these amazing seats in front of you with all this crushed carbon. Feels very expensive back here. All this crushed carbon. Look at all this crazy crushed carbon. Very sporty, like a race seat almost. Now, on the bottom here, of course, this is the Defender, so you do have full plastic floor, and you get these rubber mats they put on top. Now, you can also get carpeted mats, which is kind of unique, because listen, normally most cars have carpet, and then you put rubber on top. But not this guy. It's rubber everywhere, and they put carpet on top. Change it up. So if you are all about the contrarian lifestyle, well, maybe you want to buy this thing. All right, welcome to the most powerful, most luxurious Defender ever made. This is the first edition OCTA. Now, there's a few tidbits that make this different. Starting off with these seats. These seats are amazing. Not to mention they are fully adjustable in every way. They actually have speakers built into them, and they have something called body and soul seats, and you can adjust the volume of these seats because they are like subwoofers in the seats. When you listen to tunes, you're like, okay, I feel this, I feel this. It also has its own program, but there's 3, I think, speakers, maybe 5, but anyways, between 3 and 5 speakers inside these seats that are, again, fully adjustable, and you're driving down the road, and you can feel these things like vibrate your soul. That's why they're called body and soul. Anyways, okay, door panel time. You have 3 increments of memory seats. Of course, you have power windows on all 4 corners. You've got these little tiny mirrors that do have blind spot indicator. You do have all kinds of storage down here. It says Defender, letting you know that you're in a Defender. You do have stainless steel pedals, which have rubber soles on them so they don't slip with all kinds of grip. You do have, of course, the Defender dash. It is nice and soft, this padding here. You do have Holy handles right here that you can hold. And for me as a driver, I have a heads-up display that actually has an extra mode that gives you all types of angles and stuff like that when it comes to the OCTA. Anyways, the OCTA has something unique. It's got this on the steering wheel on the bottom. You do have the OCTA button. When you hit it once, it goes into dynamic mode. When you hold it down, it goes into, it's not running, but it does say it, OCTA mode. And OCTA mode is sick because OCTA mode is not to like race on the streets. That is for dynamic mode. OCTA mode is specifically for off-roading and just being a badass. You can jump with this thing. You can rock crawl with this thing. This OCTA mode really puts the suspension to test, and it's specifically made for this vehicle. It's not in any other product, specifically just the OCTA. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You do have a few extra gadgets when it comes to this. You have more stuff you can see with this guy. So for me, you can weight sense a little bit taller than the normal Defender. You can go almost 40 inches, 39.4 if I'm not mistaken, in terms of wading through water. Yeah, we did it. Anyways, everything else is pretty much the same as a normal Defender. All this stuff is all the same. This is not. This guy here, more crushed carbon. Love it. You've got some storage down here. Of course, you do have USB-Cs. You do have a USB-C up here so you can store stuff where you have your little tray table there for the passenger. You do have a wireless charger there. And you have a refrigerator. Yep, a refrigerator. And we had 4 Evian bottles. Right now, they're just dirty cameras in here, but there were 4 Evian bottles in this refrigerator. And yeah, that's that. Oh, and rear view mirror camera. I forgot about it almost. Go like this and voila. You can't see, but now you can. Right there. Time to drive this bad boy. I'm invigorated with these body and soul seats. Feel the body, feel the soul. All right, just a quick jump in here. This is 2 weeks later. Now I have the OCTA in my hometown on the street. I just wanted to get some POVs. I didn't have the opportunity to shoot any POVs on that trip. It was crazy, crazy busy, a lot of movement, and it was hard to sort of get out and have my peace in POV land, especially on the street. So a little bit of POV here with this. Again, this makes a whack ton of horsepower, 626 horsepower and 553 pound-feet of torque. Now I'm gonna go back to video, but I wanna show you guys how I put in dynamic because the dynamic mode is super important on the street. We're not gonna use OCTA here. I'm not sure what happened to my GoPro, but I will hit it again and activate. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna hit dynamic by hitting the center button here on the bottom here, the OCTA button, and now I'm in dynamic mode selected. The steering wheel does stiffen up. The performance is staggering and it is a weapon. So one of the things about this is the suspension. We talked about it, or I will talk about it, depends on where I insert this part of the video, but the suspension does tighten up. It becomes more of a car. And Land Rover has said that there's no difference in stability by raising this OCTA and when you press this dynamic mode. Of course, you get performance, it adjusts the shifting, and you get full jam in this thing. All right, you get some gurglies back there. So I'm gonna whip this thing around and I'm gonna get back to the video, back in Grand Junction to show you guys what that trip was like. But I just wanted to put this in dynamic, get you guys to hear it, the excitement of what the OCTA is about, especially these seats. So sick. Now I get to look at this thing and touch it, and everything's clean. I got major OCD in my hands, so I couldn't really think very well on that trip. My hands were like so dirty all the time. This is super clean, super nice, and there's absolutely zero reason for me to press this OCTA button and drive it in OCTA. That's where this trip comes in. So back to the trip. Now just a quick jump in here. The one thing I didn't do on that trip is actually pin this thing in dynamic mode on the street. So I had the OCTA back here for the week in my hometown. Again, this is 2 weeks after the trip. I'm gonna jump back into the video, but I wanna show you guys the acceleration because this is key, and of course get some POV, that's the point. So come to a full stop here, foot on the ground, let's see what this thing does, and 661 horse. Damn, she rips on the brakes, full brakes, okay. All right. I got this little gauge in front of me, shows how much power I used with the turboniums. It shows 29 pounds of boost from the ground again. Okay, all right. OCTA, crazy. because remember, I drove this in Octa mode and it pulls, but I didn't actually get a chance to drive it in dynamic on the street. There was just too much going on, but that was that. This does 0 to 100 in about like 4 seconds or so, which is kind of crazy considering this thing is a beast, a beast. Oh man, this motor rips. This motor rips. And foot on the ground. Whew. Damn, this thing shifts pretty wicked. Anyways, back to the video. Morning, we are out here on a beautiful Saturday to experience these all new Octas, and we are heading to a place called the Dolores Triangle, so let's go.
So what we'll do is we'll put it in drive. We'll pull up here so that when Davey calls in,
Ooh,
we can.
Big jump. Perfect.
When
Just put the seat.
yeah, so there's a joystick.
Oh yeah, this.
here.
Yeah, perfect. Awesome. Just make sure my steering is good.
I want to actually get a little closer. I think.
Closer a little bit.
Probably a couple inches.
Okay,
Yeah, there you go.
Perfect.
How's that feel?
Good.
Okay,
I
perfect.
feel alive.
There you go. That's a good speed to start with here.
Yeah. Well, I'd say like mid-30s probably.
Right?
Right.
It's gonna get loose right here. Feel it loosen up.
Yeah, I love
All right,
it.
a little bit of brake.
Brakes.
Hard right hand turn.
Perfect.
There you go.
Open
Just
up a
keep
little
looking where
bit.
you're going. Look for your exit.
Perfect.
Around the corner.
Awesome.
And then we're gonna carry a little bit of brake. Brake. Start looking around the corner. Look for that cone. See
Yep.
that cone?
Yep, I see it right there.
Keep it going. Keep
Perfect.
it going. Keep it going. There you go.
Awesome.
Now ease around.
All right. Yeah, she's definitely like Lucy.
Loosey goosey.
Loosey goosey.
So, yep, just little inputs of throttle. There you go. Right in the center of these ruts. Stay right in the middle.
Okay.
There you
Perfect.
go. All right, gonna be on the brakes. On the brakes. Start looking to your left. That's a good speed.
Perfect. Yeah, around 40 miles feels really stable in this thing. It feels nice.
You're gonna be on the brake. This is gonna be a big left brake. There you go.
Oh,
Big sweeping left turn. Just keep looking.
Yep.
Keep it nice and consistent. Keep looking. Looking for your exit. Looking for your exit.
Not
Here
yet.
it comes.
There it is.
All right, there it is. Now we're gonna be into hard right.
Okay.
It's gonna set us up for a hard left. Yep, hard left.
A little
So
bump
touch
there.
the throttle. You're gonna lift when we get right up to the top of it.
Okay.
So lift.
And lift.
Now, what an experience so far. This has been amazing. I haven't actually experienced something this good on a press trip in a really long time, especially when you have this much horsepower and you're not using it. But knowing that you have it just makes it so much better. Now, I am in auto terrain response. We are not in Octa mode because we're going slow crawl. We're in 4 low, just taking it all in. Now, it is fairly firm. When you go over the rocks and the bumps, it's very like very rugged and hard. Whereas when you're in Octa mode and you're doing these jumps and you're ripping around corners, it's very smooth and very like adaptable, I should say.
Jim Sweat, this is Jeff. Are we able to clear by you guys? Yes, absolutely.
Holy shit.
What do you say?
Big fucking, like,
Bird?
vulture or something. Yeah.
Are you the vehicle right behind me? 10-4, yeah. Copy that. Yeah, no worries. I'm going to fall back in behind you so we still split up our group. 10-4, thank you guys.
Okay, so he's continuing to wait.
For you, Jeff, anything?
Well, it's actually nice because you can actually see the difference now from the back of a regular Defender and an Octo. And I didn't realize that you have you still have the little small 2 square lights on both sides.
Yeah.
On both.
Mm-hmm.
So main differences from the back that you can see now is upper half is like color matched, top half is color matched.
Yeah.
The exhaust is different rear bumper slightly.
Yeah. Yeah, the rear bumper, they said they altered to help with approach angle.
Okay. And departure, yeah.
Yeah, approach yeah. Yeah, fender flares obviously.
Fenders are
different.
wider, yeah, you can definitely see that.
Yeah.
We're on the cliffs of death. Dude, how on earth did that rock get on that? I gotta get the video of this thing.
Very carefully.
The rock of the video. Look at that. How on earth did... I'm gonna put this in the video. How did this rock get on top of that rock? Wow, that's wild. All right, that's all I can say. Man, I just to see like how things are created
Oh yeah.
is amazing, right?
Yeah, there was so much of like, I mean, this around here and even some of the other spots we were driving through on the way in, like, I don't know, like, we were talking earlier, like, I've seen some of like the rock nerdy fucking like evolution of Earth, specials and stuff, but stuff like this where there's just rock scattered everywhere, I'm like, how did that?
How did it come?
Yeah.
How did it come?
Nature is wild. Fun here.
There's a two-hander. Stay high, stay high.
How high?
So high. I'm gonna toss around like two little bees over here. I can't remember like one event I was like blasting up these things like nobody's business.
Yeah.
So these tires can do 99 miles an hour and they're specifically built for this Defender. Alright, he's running up to get a shot. He's getting a shot.
This is fine.
There we go, finally some
fine.
action. So you need a 6-point harness and some handles to hold you.